Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I will show you how to make a pair of earrings, of simple earrings, using some painted cowrie shells. As you can see, they are broken on this side so that they can be used as beads. I will also use a pair of pliers, the chain nose pliers, which have the top pointed so that they can grab small parts, small findings like these. Another tool that I'm going to use is the jump ring opener, and I will also need some findings, the fishhook ear wires that we use to hang the earrings in the ears, and the jump rings. Now let's take one of those beads and make the first earring. So I will take the bead and I will take one jump ring and open the jump ring with the jump ring opener and the pliers. I will put the bead on this jump ring and I will also put the fishhook ear wire on the jump ring. I'll grab the jump ring with the pliers, and with the jump ring opener I will close the jump ring, and I have created the first earring. So this is a very colorful earring, so it can be worn, for example, at the beach. And now let's do the same with the second earring. I will grab the pliers and I'll grab the jump ring, and with the jump ring opener I'll open the jump ring. I'll put the shell on the jump ring, and now I will put the fishhook ear wire on the jump ring. But before I put the fishhook ear wire, I will see how I put the other fishhook ear wire. So if this fishhook ear wire has the top oriented in this direction, the second fishhook ear wire should have the top here oriented in the opposite direction, so that when I put the earrings on my ears, they both face with the painted side towards the front. For example, if I put the ear wire in the same direction this way, let's see what will happen. I will put the second earring on my ear, and the earring will show the back of the shell, not the front of the shell. This is why I will put the fishhook ear wire in this direction, and then they will both show the colorful part. So I will grab the jump ring with the pliers and the jump ring opener and close the jump ring. And now I have also made the second earring. Like this, we have both earrings ready now. So as you can see, for a pair of earrings like this, we only need two simple tools and two findings. And we have made a pair of colorful earrings that you can wear, for example, at the beach. In this lesson I will show you how to use the crochet to create the magic ring and to make a flower using this magic ring. In order to make the magic ring, I will use some yarn, and I will put the yarn around my fingers like this. So I'll put the yarn once around the finger like that, and then I will twist it again around my finger so that I create a cross. Now I will put my crochet under one of the yarns. I grab the other yarn like this. I take the yarn out like this. I turn the crochet so that I can form a loop. Then I will grab the end of the yarn and I will put the end of the yarn through the loop that I have just created. And I will form a new loop. And now I can let go of the ring that I have created, and as you can see I have this tail of the ring here, and I will always hold on this ring tail so that it doesn't come out through here and open my magic ring. So I should be careful that the magic ring does not open. So let's repeat the magic ring. I put the yarn like this over my fingers. Then I come back with the yarn and create this cross. On this side you can see the yarns are parallel. And I grab them with this finger here. I put my crochet under the first yarn. I take the second yarn out like this. I twist the crochet so that I form a loop here. And then I will take the other yarn from here and I'll put this yarn through my loop like this, and I form a loop here and I let go of the magic ring that I have created like this, being careful that I do not let go of this tail of my ring so that the ring does not open. And now let's start making loops around this magic ring. So I have this first loop here. And I will create a few more loops. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have created these 4 loops. I'll make the ring a bit smaller so that I can work with it easier. And now I will put the yarn around my crochet like this so that I form 2 loops here. Now I will go with the crochet into my magic ring. I grab the yarn, take it out of the magic ring and form a 3rd loop like this. And now again I grab the yarn and put the yarn through 2 of my rings, 1 and the 2nd, and I create 1 loop like this. And now I have these 2 loops. And again I take the yarn and put it through these 2 loops to make 1 loop. And now I have this 1 loop here. Again I put the crochet around the loop, the yarn around the crochet. I make 1 loop. Then I go with the crochet into the magic ring. I grab again the yarn and take it out of the ring, and I have created 3 loops. I take the yarn and put the yarn through the first 2 loops, so through 1 and through the 2nd, and I have created 2 loops. And then I take the yarn again and put the yarn through the first and through the second and make one loop. Now I have this loop. Again, I make another loop by twisting the yarn around my crochet. I put the crochet inside the loop. Again, I grab the yarn and I make 3 loops like this. Again, I grab the yarn, put the yarn through the first 2 loops and make another loop like this. Again, I grab the yarn and put it through 1 and through the second loop, and I create another loop like this. Let's see one more time how I make these loops. So I have this one loop, I twist the yarn to make the second loop, then I put the crochet inside the magic circle, grab the yarn from inside the circle and make the third loop. Again, from the outside I grab the yarn and put it through the first and the second loop. I have created 2 loops, and now I grab again the yarn and put it through 1 and through the second loop and form again 1 loop. And I will continue until I have finished making those loops around my magic circle, and then I will show you how to create the flower. And now that I have made the last loop, I will grab the end of the magic circle and pull on the end of the magic circle to create the circle. So let's pull on the magic circle to close the circle. So like this, the circle, as you can see, is closing. By pulling on this tail of the magic circle. So as you can see, the circle has closed, and now I will take the yarn and the last loop, and I'll put the crochet through my first loop here, grab the yarn, put it through the first loop, and now I have these 2 loops, and I will take this first loop through my previous loop and make only 1 loop. So if I only want to create this disc like this, let's pull on the magic circle to make this hole in the middle smaller. So if I pull on this cord like here, the circle in the middle will become smaller, this circle. And now I have this loop. So if I cut this cord here, then I have only created this middle part of our crochet, and I only have this round shape. But I will also add some petals and make a flower. In order to make a flower, I have this loop here. I will make a few more loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have created a chain of 6 loops. So I have this chain of 6 loops, and I will make the petals of my flower by going back 1 loop, putting my crochet through the previous loop, then I grab the yarn like this, and now I have these 2 loops here. And I will take the first loop through the second loop like this, and I have created 1 loop. And again I will create a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 loops. And now I will go back 1 more loop, put my crochet through the previous loop, grab the yarn, create the 2 loops, take 1 loop through the other loop like this, and I have created another loop. And again I will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I go back and look for the previous loop, put my crochet through the previous loop, I make these 2 loops, and again I take 1 loop through the other, and I create 1 loop. And I'm going to continue making those petals around the inner circle, and then our flower is ready. Now again I have made 6 loops, and I will create the last petal of the flower. So I will go into the first loop here, I'll take the yarn out through the loop like this, and then I will take the yarn out through the other loop, so I put the crochet through the first loop, I take the yarn, I take it out through the first loop, I have these 2 loops here, I take one of the loops through the other loop, and I have created the last loop. Now I'll pull on this loop like this, and I will take the scissors cut, I'll remove my yarn, and I have only these bits of yarn left. So I'll pull on the central yarn, on the magic circle yarn like this, so that the loop in the center disappears like this. And now I will put this yarn under my loops here, so that the yarn will disappear, the yarn of the magic loop. I'll put the yarn of the magic loop under another loop, and again under another loop. Under another loop like this. Like this. So I have put the yarn of the magic ring under my other loops, and now I'll cut, and the yarn has disappeared. And now I have this last bit of yarn here that I will also put under the other loops by means of the crochet, so that it also disappears. This way. Now I will cut the yarn. I will also cut the yarn, so the yarn has disappeared under the loops, and our flower pattern is ready. And now let's create the earrings using the crochet flowers. In order to make the earrings, I will use some findings, so a jump ring and a fishhook ear wire. And as tools, I will use a pair of chain nose pliers. As you can see, they are flat here, so they don't have teeth, so that they do not scratch the findings. And they are also pointed, so that I can grab small items. Like with some pincers. And also I will use this ring, the jump ring opener. So let's begin making the earrings. I will grab the jump ring with the pliers, with the chain nose pliers and the jump ring opener, and I will open the jump ring. Now I have opened the jump ring, and I will take the earring and put the jump ring like this through my earring. I will take one of those fishhook ear wires like this. I put the fishhook ear wire on the jump ring. I grab the jump ring like this, and I will close it with the jump ring opener and the pliers. And now I have created the first earring. And now let's make the second earring. So as you can see, the way you put the fishhook ear wires or French ear wires is very important. So you have to put them so that the tip faces one another. The tip of the ear wires faces one another. So the tip must be one to the left and one to the right. Because if you put the second fishhook ear wire this way, when you are going to hang your earring on the ear, it will be reversed, so with the back, not with the front. So it's very important to be attentive how you put the fishhook ear wires, to the left or to the right. Again, I will take the jump ring, grab it with the pliers and the jump ring opener, open it, take the earring, put the fishhook ear wire through the flower, through the crochet flower, and now I will grab the jump ring, and with the jump ring opener I close the jump ring. And now I have created both earrings. And let's see the earrings from a closer distance. So this is what the finished earrings look like.
the crochet area.